things.
A one.
One, a two, a 1, 2, 3.
Let's talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it.
Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
We're
Let's
back.
go.
We are
Back
again.
better than ever.
Back in the seats.
7 days up, 7 days down. We're back.
Well, I'm getting better every day.
Yes, sir.
Y'all missed me last episode. I wasn't here.
We did miss you.
It was a tearjerker.
Yeah.
I miss you every day.
It was
You're
a
not in the
tearjerker
bank
for
room
sure.
now.
It was painful.
This guy had to do your intro. It was wild.
Was it good? I haven't watched it yet.
It was
If
good.
anyone's going to do the intro besides you, it's Mr. Appia.
Yeah, he's the man. For it.
Cap App. Yes,
Cap
sir.
app.
Cap
Cappy
app.
app.
They don't even- they don't
Episode
even
40,
know.
guys.
Episode 40.
Episode
That's
40.
crazy.
We're here.
Go
We're
middle-aged. What's
We
up?
should be holding
So we're
40s.
middle-aged.
We should be.
This
ever
is
40
not
hands in
good.
this
Hey,
thing.
I heard the new 40s is the new 30s.
Nowadays, yeah.
That's what I've heard.
No, like fine wine.
And at least we're not dirty 30 anymore.
No,
This
God.
is true. We weaved that one.
Yeah.
Is there a chime for 40? Is it Foxy 40s? We're in our Foxy 40s.
I like
boys.
that. Foxy.
Yeah, I
40s.
like
We are
that.
You heard it
Foxy
here
for
first.
sure.
Foxy 40s.
We just started a trend.
First
Foxy
episode
For all
of
you
our Foxy
old
40s.
40-year-olds, we just gave you an idea.
Foxy.
To
Welcome
stay
back
young.
to life, ladies.
Yeah.
So, Frankie.
Yes.
Frankie.
Thomas. Thomas.
What are we
Thomas.
talking about, Frankie?
So today, it's going to be one of my favorite Bible stories of all time. David versus Goliath.
A classic.
David versus Goliath, startup versus corporation, or what the actual episode will be called is how to compete with bigger businesses in your space.
Bigger
sir.
businesses.
I'm so scared of you guys.
We got
With
the
your
slingshot.
corporate bullshit.
Oh no, they got HR.
Oh no, the HR team, they're gonna come in. They're gonna on us.
Guys, you know I'm in therapy for HR.
That's how we win.
So, first step to fighting bigger businesses. In my opinion, I would say, honestly,
Well, we gotta
the
introduce
first step is-
ourselves.
Oh,
That's the
God.
first step in fighting a bigger
Dude, I
business.
missed
You
one
missed
episode.
one
I
episode.
They don't
Yeah.
introduce themselves.
They don't, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right,
so-
you need me to do
startups
it?
introduce themselves.
Without further ado, my name is Thomas McCullough, your head of partner relations. To my left, I have.
Frank Grizzly Luando, the COO.
Frankie D, CEO.
Love that.
Appia Fragoletti, Director of Banking Relations.
And now, introducing
Waiting for this.
the best business in the world. God damn it, I'm sorry, Appio, I failed you. And now, introducing the #1 business in the world, Lexington Capital Holdings.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
That looks so wrong.
It does. It definitely does a little bit. That's all right. Eyes on the prize, boys. Eyes on the prize.
You're the prize.
Fighting big businesses.
hey, guys. Hey.
Our subscribers are our prize.
Yes, I think this is gonna be a really good episode, guys. I mean, we were in this position not too long ago. You know, I'd say even maybe like a year ago we were in this position. So obviously coming into business as a startup, as a newer business, it's a lot harder to compete with the Goliaths of your space. You know, with people who've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, decades upon decades upon decades. And in our space specifically, I mean, we're going up against guys who've been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. So obviously it's a lot tougher. We don't have the resources that we have, but we're here to go over with you guys what you can do to mitigate against that and still be able to compete with those losers.
100%.
Hell yeah.
One thing I think that's very important, and I tell my team all the time, is that transparency is the most important thing in business, guys. So you always need to be honest, you need to be upfront, you need to be truthful, and you need to be transparent with your employees, with your customers, with your partners, with people in your life. You don't want to burn bridges ever. It's very, very, very important to always stay true to your word, especially as a man. But the one time, the one time where you're going to tell a little smidgen of a white lie is when it comes down to business, and that's making yourself seem bigger than what it is that you are. Because, I mean, for an example, like when we were first in business, you know, how many people want to do business with a company that's 1 month time in business, 6 months time in business, 12 months time in business, even 2, 3, 4 years time in business, where there's people who've been doing it for 10, 15, 20 plus years. So it's very important for us to have projected ourselves to act like we've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 plus years, because we wouldn't have been able to get on the lending partners that we had now. So we wouldn't have the lending channel or platform that we were able to create, as well as being able to bring on customers or clients. I mean, even if it's a pizzeria, I mean, you're going to go to the pizzeria who's been around for a month, or the pizzeria who's been around for decades.
For decades.
Obviously, you're going to go with the bigger household name. So yeah,
And with the pizzeria too, I mean, when their first thought is, I need financing, right away, it's not going to be that 1 month company, unless they project themselves to be that way, like we did.
Sure.
Their first thought is, let me go to Chase, I bank there,
Yeah.
and they're going to get a real hard no real quick, and then they look for the next best, and that's us.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
sure all you guys saw the video the other day of Andy Elliott. We all love Andy Elliott
Shout out
over
Andy.
here. Shout out Andy.
That's our
Big
boy.
big
Yeah,
and.
big
Mr.
and.
Elliott. But he was saying that he was talking to his wife, and he was at a conference or something. I don't know. He was talking to his wife, and he said that we're the #1 coaching in America. We're the #1 coaching company in the world. And his wife was like, no, we're not. And he was like, yes, we are. We're the #1 coaching company in the world. But Andy, we're not. We're not the #1 coaching company in the world. No, you don't understand. We are the #1 coaching company in the world. Oh, okay. And then when you put yourself out there like that, I mean, number one, I'm going to believe it to an extent. I'm not doing the due diligence and looking up all that data. But when you project that much confidence out there, I mean, who's not going to want to believe you or at least have that much more faith in you?
Yeah.
Even just in your little dialogue, I was believing the louder voice more than no, they're not. Like, no, that guy's saying it pretty loud. I'm going to agree that they might be the #1.
It's like every movie commercial you ever see. #1 movie in America. Every single one.
#1 blockbuster this
That's what brings
summer.
people in. I mean, like you said, you got to make yourself. You got to put everything that you do on a pedestal. And like it was easy for us to do because, like you said, we're very transparent, very straight to the point, and we had a great platform. So it was easy to put ourselves on a pedestal and just put our foot down and say, hey, we are the #1, the best company in the world.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And it's allowed people to take us way more seriously in the beginning. And what it also allowed us to do is to be able to grow into the best brokerage in our space. Because, listen, I mean, we talk about it all the time. If you don't say things, believe it, and then execute upon it every day, it doesn't happen. So if we weren't going to sit here and say we were going to be the #1 business loan broker in our space, it would have never happened. But we grew into that role in such a short period of time because that stuff we would just keep saying out loud. We would say it in morning meetings. We'd say it after work, before work, to ourselves, to each other. So it's just always just good juju we've just been putting out into the air, the law of attraction, and eventually it's been able to allow us to kind of grow into it exactly what we've become, and that's the #1 loan brokerage in the United States of America.
Another thing too that I like with going against your competition is finding where like they screwed up. And you can find that pretty easily. You can take a test drive, go through their platform yourself, give them a call, see how their experience is, check out their reviews, talk to someone that might have done it, and like just alone that data has helped us. Like, oh, we know this competitor really doesn't help their clients in this field, so if we do that, boom, that's our leg up on the competition. Like, oh, they're not as transparent as we are, so we got to be extra transparent. They're not marketing, so we got to market. Like those kind of things. Like, see what your competitors aren't doing. Sometimes on that minute chance there's a reason why they're not doing it, and that's what that 30 years of experience has got them. But something as simple as your competitor's not marketing, why not market? Like that right there, huge edge against your competition.
That's why I think it's so easy to be able to beat bigger companies because there's always a hole in the ship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Every big ship has a hole somewhere. They have a leak. So you kind of just compile, like Grizzly said, the data of a lot of larger companies in your space, and you kind of almost just make a list. Like, what is it that they're lacking? Like, what we do that they don't do? And we kind of just need to go way harder with that. So in our space, some things that I specifically have taken from people who don't do it is, for one, customer service. Customer service, I think, in any space, honestly, once a company gets to a certain point, they do not take seriously. I mean, think about when you call up your credit card companies or even Home Depot to a certain extent. It's like you're not getting a human being on the phone, and if you are, it's some Filipino. That barely speaks English. You could barely understand the guy. It's very, very frustrating. So I think customer service, #1, is going to be something that you could just smash the competition with right away, because that's what the bigger companies are not worrying about. They are worrying about slashing costs, saving as much money as they possibly can on that front. They do not care. Most of them care about the product more. But in my opinion, it's the customer experience is what's going to make somebody want to marry you. And that's what's funny enough, and what they don't understand is that's what allowed them to marry that company and become loyal to that brand in the beginning. It was the service that they received.
Yeah.
So the #2 thing that people in our space struggle with heavily is marketing. Don't know why. Yeah. You got millions upon billions of dollars. Build out a marketing budget, right? They ran their advertisements, their PPC ads on Facebook, on Google, and all that, but they weren't putting out content, is really more what I mean.
Yes.
We're changing the content game in our space. We're everywhere. You see us everywhere. You see our red shirts. You see all our posts on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We're on every single social platform, and then we tie in our advertisements to the content that we're creating instead of just putting out, need a line of credit? contact us today at 888,
We've
yada,
been
yada,
seeing
yada,
that
yada.
for 20 years.
Yeah. Also, when you get to that size of business too, you start to lose personality for professionalism. Where realistically, you could do both. You can add your personality into being professional, and it makes you more of a human, more likable, way more adaptive to the client as well,
Yeah.
and it makes them feel more comfortable.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, when you call into a bigger corporation like that, back to the customer service aspect of it, if I'm not getting the same person every single time who kind of knows my situation, I'm eventually going to get pissed off to the point where I'm going to switch.
It's true.
With my insurance company, I had Geico for a long time, good rates, and honestly, anytime I got into an accident, they were pretty on the ball, but I lost track, and I started getting people that I wouldn't really want to speak to as much on the phone, and then I found myself a brokerage who I have a
Yep.
dedicated representative. He would call me once a month before I had my auto pay set up, make sure I was making my payment and everything, and it's more of a personal experience, and you could always reach out to that person, and
Yep.
even if you're not buying a new policy, you ask them some questions about what you can do or what you should do just for future aspects or whatever it might be.
That's why like
It's huge.
brokerages are so, I guess big nowadays, because we offer that customer service what these other people want. People are getting fed up with these other companies. I mean, think about the amount of brokerages back in the day compared to their, like in our parents' generation compared to now. Like there's brokerages popping up in literally every single industry. I mean, dude,
everything,
there's auto brokers getting people cars from dealerships. That's how bad the dealership's customer service has even became. You know what I mean? And something I was thinking about while you were talking before is, think about this. Think about if there was one bank. Pick any bank. It doesn't matter.
Russia.
And yeah, sure. A smaller bank. Say like M&T. They're a regional bank compared to like a Chase, a Wells Fargo, Bank of America. And say every single time you called in, you got a client service representative on the phone from America. You know how many more people would switch over to M&T just because of that? Like, why doesn't one person just spend the extra money, build out a budget just for customer experience and service, and just see what it does? That's why a lot of people like working with these community banks. You know, and that's why they're in business. It's because of this customer aspect of it.
And these big banks, even the regional ones like M&T, they have the money for that. They really
Dude,
do.
they all have the
They
money for it. It's whether
that.
they want to or not,
For
bro.
something as silly as
You could pay out dividends, bro. You could get some customer service representatives,
100%.
The
man.
CEO's getting some big bonuses.
Oh my
the
God.
CEO, if he makes $100 million, if he makes $95 million and $5 million goes to adding a bunch of people that speak English that
Yeah.
you're on the phone with, take the cut. You're going
It
to
would
get more
also
clients.
add top line revenue to the company, and the
Yeah.
CEO could probably make $120 the next year. He's got to take a back
Exactly.
seat for the first year.
No, that's
and
it.
that's what these people don't think about.
That's actually something. How you were saying, Colin, like with Amex, we're big fans of American Express. When you call in, it's always someone different, except for this one line that I've been dealing with, and it's cool because they have it routed to speak to someone that you've spoken to in the past. So
That's cool.
I've spoken to 3 people recently. I'm not going to say their names, but this one guy, I got him on every time that I called, and it was perfect because they'd be like, "Hey, it's Frank over at Lex." He'd go, "I was actually just looking at your profile this morning," and I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, dude." He goes, "One, I knew you were going to call today."
Yeah. And that's unheard of for American
Yeah,
Express.
no,
but
literally,
It's
yeah.
cool that one department will do that.
Yeah, like that one department. He
should be
goes, "We
all.
have it done this way, so that way you feel more comfortable with the experience. Like, look at what we're doing now. We know each other by first name. I know your profile." I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, you call into their other line to check on something, and it's, "Hi, this is blank from blank." Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, something like that crushes out competition.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like that. I love American Express.
Really do. They're great.
No doubt.
They have a cool chat bot.
Their chatbot's great. It's not even the bot. They get you on with the human being really quickly, and they solve my issues.
That's pretty sweet.
One other thing for competition I want to talk about, just from like past experience, when I had my Goosehead agency, like you're in competition with other Goosehead agencies. It's the same thing, you know, like on Long Island, there's 8 million people. There's only so many insurance agencies and brokerages and whatnot. But like, yes, as what I was, I'm in competition with Allstate, with, wow, I'm losing my insurance game.
Geico,
Nationwide, Geico, all
State
those
Farm.
guys. Yeah, I'm competing with them.
Jake from State Farm's
Jake,
coming for
bro,
you.
he was getting me
Yeah,
every
that
time.
guy.
Yeah,
Getting me every time.
those damn khakis, man.
He doesn't wear jeans.
Those damn,
No.
yeah, that's the difference.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm competing against those guys, and like that's normal. You know, I'm a small guy going up against these big guys. But in the same instance, when I graduated my class, there was 5 other people on Long Island that also graduated that class, and I knew there was 10 more coming in the next term. So it's like, you know, you got to learn how to compete against your own beast too. You know, like we won't see something like that because like Lexington's never gonna have to compete with Lexington. But you know, in an industry like insurance, like yeah, like I gotta my own company is my competition.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of weird to think about or execute upon.
Yeah.
But you know, I call up a loan office, you know, down the road, and the other Goosehead guy already called them. You know, so like it wasn't Allstate, it wasn't that. It's internal competition too. you know, just from your own beast. It's the same top line goal, but we all have our own bottom lines we got to meet.
Absolutely. Another thing to add to that is technology inside of your business. As crazy as this sounds, a lot of the bigger corporations actually cheap out on technology. I don't know the last time you guys have went to a bank, but do you see the screens that
Oh
they
my
give to their
God.
employees, dude?
Using
And
IBM screens. They
yeah,
don't make them anymore.
dude, they're Stone Age screens, dude. I told the Chase teller, I'm like, listen, I'm like, I'll buy you a screen. I was like, if Mr. Diamond won't do it, I'll take care of you. She's a
Not
sweet
Diamond.
older lady. I'm like, you cannot be working like this. Like, this is insane. So as crazy as this sounds, a lot of times they'll have less resources because they allocate their budgets to different things, keeping their shareholders happy, paying out dividends, paying the CEO more than they should, you know, stuff like that. Crazy Super Bowl marketing budgets, you know
Oh
what I
my
mean,
God,
commercial
yeah.
budgets.
10 million a commercial.
So as nuts as that sounds, you think it would be the opposite. Looking at technology in other companies and learning from, you know, what you could implement from a smaller company could propel you over your competition. Another thing as well is even just the treating of your people. That's why we've been able to excel and turn from a startup into a medium-sized company in such a short period of time. I think it's because, I mean, you've heard all about our company culture in multiple episodes, but we truly wholeheartedly care about our people.
Yep.
You're going to sit here and tell me that Chase Bank cares about all 50,000 employees that they have? No, they don't. But we care about all 46 employees that we have, and it's very easy to stay on top of 46 employees compared to 50,000. And the thing is, it's like there's only 2 managers who report to me. So I basically know if they're sitting here and speaking with our guys every day, asking about their lives, calling them, seeing how they are, asking about their personal lives, what we could do to better the work environment, to their outside life. If you want to talk this, I'll buy you lunch, anything like that. And I mean, dude, if you have 50,000 employees, you probably have at least 1,000 managers. There's no way it's impossible to stay on top of all these people to make sure they're doing the right thing. I mean, we hear all the time, people leave corporate companies all the time because this manager was a creep. He did this. He didn't give a shit about me. This guy sucked. So that's a big advantage that you have. So no matter how big you get, no matter how big we get, we're always going to make sure that management's on the same page with the way that we want to always treat our people. Even when we do have 50,000 employees, that is something that I will make sure happens.
The Lexington way.
The Lexington way.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a big pizza budget.
It's
For
a
50,000
fat
employees.
pizza
Fat
budget.
pizza budget.
It's
That's
a fat pizza
They're
budget.
all, no
Whole
wonder
tax
why
rate.
they're only having a pizza party, you know,
Dude.
maybe once a year,
He's
twice
cutting
a
them
year.
slices in
It's
threes.
true.
Yeah, like school time.
Yeah. All right, guys. This year you get a third of a slice. We're cutting down.
And an apple.
And we have them every Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Boss Frankie.
You're very welcome.
And I'll tell you what, it just goes more to the company culture.
Yeah.
Company culture.
Yeah.
There's
Everyone
so many
looks forward
dots.
to
Every
Pizza Friday.
dot, every episode we've ever done is just a dot leading up to every episode that we're gonna do in the future. Honestly,
It's true.
Essentially, yeah.
It's true.
But even so, like what he was saying with, you know, like our management, like I can guarantee that none of our competition, like, you know, the 4 main guys that we're all kind of, you know, fighting against every day, they don't have that same, you know, culture in their company, which leads to a leg down on the competition, you
Yep.
know, because less people are going to want to work for you. Less people are going to bring you ideas on how to build the company because there's no value in that for them. You know, if someone comes to you with a great idea and it does something for the company, they get rewarded for that. You know, like there's value in working here, and that breeds competition. You know, I could get paid $50,000 somewhere, like more somewhere else, and if my value isn't there, then you're not the competition I want to be a part of. You know.
They pick profits over people, and we do the
100%.
reverse opposite.
You
And that's
do.
what leads to more profits.
Absolutely.
Especially in our industry too. Like, not only do we care about you, we'll sit there, we'll train you, we'll talk to you at any time. You come in before we have our training sessions. We build you, mold you, teach you, show you, and wait and literally breed you into a salesman, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Well, that goes with the management thing too. It's like you just have one bad manager, one bad guy. I mean, some managers don't even want to train people good because they're scared that they might be able to like take their job one day, or like they just don't care, or whatever the case may be. So it's like just one bad egg could just screw up like literally a whole department at a larger company. And sometimes it's hard for the CEO or for the owner to know what's
Yeah.
truly
Yeah.
going on with that many people going on. So another thing that I like to do is just survey clients. And sometimes you're surveying them like on purpose, and sometimes they're just surveying for you. You know what I mean? Like, what other options have you seen? You know, before you went to election. I dealt with so and so. I dealt with so and so. I love this. I hated that. I love this. Hated that. Always taking down notes. The whole team knows to always take down notes, and they bring it to management, and just good things they've heard from other companies, bad things that they've heard from other companies, so that we could constantly implement that. You could always go and look at their Google reviews, their Trustpilot reviews, look at their worst reviews, and figure out what they're really lacking, and then you could then go and implement that, and really be able to propel yourself over the Goliath in your industry.
The data collection's huge. You know, if you're not collecting data every day, then like you're really not fulfilling what you want to do to beat your competition.
Dude, the people are going to tell you what they want. When Henry Ford started out like the first like marketing scheme of all time, where he created the Model T already, so he had that, and he went around to a bunch of people in Flint, Michigan, and he had a clipboard, and he would just go around and he'd ask people questions just on the streets of what would you like in the car, and like the first thing was like a radio, air conditioning, stuff like that, like average people who drove his cars were proposing these ideas to him. Wow, crazy idea, Henry Ford. You know what I mean? But it goes to show you what works. You need to hear from your clientele, from your customers. Those are the people that you always need to be surveying. Always need to be getting feedback from them constantly.
Absolutely.
The good, the bad, the ugly, new things that they would want.
That's the one thing that always confused me, like businesses that have one product that is just so killer and they discontinue it. So
Yeah.
why? Like Dodge with the Challengers or KFC with the wedges. It's like, why would you do that? Like, I'm still
Those
mad
wedges
about
were
that to
iconic,
this day.
man.
To this
The
day.
McDonald's
KFC.
snack wraps, bro.
Wait,
The snack wraps.
Dude, the
KFC doesn't have
freaking
potato
snack
wedges
wraps,
anymore?
bro.
No, dude, they're French
Oh,
fries.
yeah, and the popcorn chicken. They don't got like you
Dude.
can't get like a big thing at that.
We need to go
anymore.
on to a new topic, boys.
Only thing I-
This is just
I ever hear
upsetting.
about it- How can I make this better? Well, you can give me $1 million for free.
Beating out competition, diversifying yourself, creating a niche product is probably one of the biggest things. Being able to have something that only your company has, that these other bigger companies don't even take the time to build out, that is an ultimately better product. Us specifically, we have our Lex Talk program.
Yeah.
I think that is one huge thing that a lot of companies don't really do. They just kind of ride the coattails of the other companies and just try and mold themselves into them rather than creating something out of themselves alone.
Yeah. Well, in our industry, a lot of people will live and die off their renewals. So I feel like what a lot of brokerages do is like 5 years they're grinding, they're worried about new business, getting in new business constantly, and then the renewal book is making them 10, 15, $20 million on a yearly basis. So they feel like they don't need to implement a new product, program, marketing strategy, or whatever the case may be, because they're comfortable, sort of say, you know what I mean? They're making their few $1 million a year. So you're completely right. You know, you need to have a revolutionary product that stands out compared to everybody else.
Especially if you want to beat the competition. Otherwise, you're just gonna be comfortable sitting with the competition.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. And we're all doing the same thing, right? We're in the same space. That's the thing with competing against the Goliaths, is that there's not a lot of different new products kind of coming out on the marketplace. And I mean everything, right? Like besides like AI, there's nothing really new that's out there. So like 99 times out of 100, when you start a business or get into a business, you're going to be getting into a niche that's been done for, if not tens, but hundreds of years, right? So that leads into what can you really do to diversify yourself? And it's everything that we spoke about before, and it's also that new revolutionary product inside of the business, right? So you might be in the pool industry, but can you create a new sick way to, Remy, I need some help.
Filter the pool.
To filter the pool
Yeah, to
that
make it
that
clean.
nobody's just thought of before, that takes the homeowner, instead of having to pay a pool company, the homeowner could do it, drop it in, gets done in 5 to 10 minutes, take it out, boom. Whole family could come over. So you're going to be in the same industry, but you got to try to just pick a revolutionary product that could change that industry. And that's what can propel your competition. That's what could actually have your competition wanting to then partner up with you, right? How many bigger companies in our space are dying to partner up with us now because we offer this revolutionary product of Lex Talk? You know, whether they're trying to get the secret sauce or whether they understand that they can't do it, regardless of what it is,
They're here.
they're here, they're getting the business, and it shows that they respect us and what we're pulling off. And it has shown that we've moved into the Goliath of the industry, and we're less David, we're more Goliath.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely all about finding the issue that's wrong with something that's wrong. Just find the issue, find a way how to solve it. I mean, people wanted to be able to work and eat at the same time. Boom, now you have a sandwich. That's one of my that's my favorite inventions. Right?
People like
invention
peanut
right there.
butter, they made jelly.
There you go.
But I remember growing up, I always wanted to be an inventor, an entrepreneur, create something of my own, and I'm looking around like, fuck, this is already made.
all
This
been
is
made.
already made. Everything's already made. And I
Yeah.
remember, I forget where I saw it or read it or heard it, but you just have to find the issue with something and then create the solution, no matter
That's
how
it.
small or little it is.
That's it.
One thing I read was if you want to build a good business, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to make it look cool.
I think
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy said that or something. along
Maybe,
those
yeah,
lines.
something about that. Because think about it, like even with us, you know, like for us to start making money, we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We just had to make it look
Dude,
like
you know how much
Lexington.
market share is in every single industry?
Exactly.
It's everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
You just gotta steal up market share
Yeah,
from
make
people.
your wheel look
That's
cooler
all
than
it
everyone
is.
else's.
That's all it is, dude. And we did that by our branding, our customer service, our diversification with the products that we offer, and our revolutionary product that we offer to the masses.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say another really huge one too. What was it? It was just in my brain.
Those Ozzy Osbourne shades.
Yeah, I need these right now.
Revolutionary.
Compounding your time, utilizing, maximizing your time.
That's a good one.
Stepping above everyone else, taking the longer days,
Yeah.
taking those not vacations, taking those working
Not
the days
taking those
when
vacations.
people are on vacation.
Working 80 instead of 40.
Yeah, really just pushing the business up while everyone's sitting back relaxing, and
Yep.
before you know it, you're in front of them.
Yeah, I mean they're all. It's like the tortoise and the hare, dude. You know what I mean? Like they're sitting in the shade right now, and we're slowly creeping up, and we're like a turtle on steroids right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right,
we're cracked.
We
We're here to
you know
torture
we,
show.
we
the pin.
Yeah, we got
The
it.
adrenaline.
We injected the adrenaline, the steroids, whatever you want to call it, into our business, and we have caught up to that rabbit, and we are surpassing it. And you're totally right. I mean, it's just compounding interest with the amount of time and effort that we're putting into the company. And all these corporate guys, I mean, they have rules that they can only work 40 hours a week. Like Chase Bank
Yeah.
does not allow you to work more than 40 hours a week, even if you wanted to hustle for it. So that's a huge advantage that we have over people. In our industry specifically, Fridays are like known as half days in our industry. People leave at like 12, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock the latest in our industry. And we work half days on Saturdays. So we're
Yeah.
working until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock on Fridays and still work a half day on Saturday when they're all out on their boats doing whatever they want, you know, on the weekends with their families and their wives, not working or caring really about their business. So, I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. That once people get ahead in a race, they slow down.
Yeah.
They coast. They think they can. But they don't realize that they got a young, hungry startup coming right behind them that's eating at market share all day long. And, like, that's what I think of. Like whether you're smaller than us or bigger than us, you have a piece of our market share that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I want. If Lexington has 10, 11, 12% of the whole entire industry, how can we get to 15? How can we get to 20? How can we get the government to intervene and say, Lexington,
Like, hey,
this is
man,
a monopoly.
slow down.
Frankie, you're the modern day J.D. Rockefeller, and this needs to end now. And you know what I'll say? All right, great. We'll make Lex Mobile, Lex Exxon,
Lex
Lex
has.
has,
Lex has, that goes
Lex
hard.
has, and I'll franchise it all out to my boys. And we'll still keep the monopoly.
Just like
Happy?
you
I
did.
don't know that guy.
Never saw
Dude, you
one.
have 2,000 podcast episodes with him. I don't know that guy. I've never seen that guy.
He's on your website.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not married to the guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
We
my,
might have met once or twice.
that's honestly my favorite one because it's honestly really rewarding to see it come to fruition. You know, a couple like year or 2 years later after that, when it was hard and you're just like, just keep going, just keep going,
Yeah.
just keep going. Eventually, we're gonna be there. Eventually,
Yeah.
we're gonna be there. And we, with everything we spoke about, just exploded up.
Yeah.
Infinitely faster than I honestly thought. But I didn't care. I was
and
here to
everybody else.
I was here to grind 5 years to
Yeah.
get to this spot, and we
Yeah.
got here infinitely
2.5.
quicker.
Yeah.
So then I don't know what the.
We doubled down
5
on the
years is
time,
gonna
bro.
look
It's
like,
as
yeah.
simple as that, dude. We doubled down on the time. Dude, there's people who are 5, 6 years in the industry, and we put up way more numbers than them.
Easily.
And we're 2.5 years time in business. There's people who are 10, 15, 20 years in the industry, and if we're not right there with them neck and neck, we're a few $1 million off, which is not a lot of things in our industry, funding monthly volume-wise.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, we're coming for them all, dude. And it's like, wait till year 5, bro. Like, the people who are 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years in biz, dude, like, are we going to take some market share for them, dude? Like, it's going to be insane. And especially with our space, it's with the renewal aspect. You just need to get people on your platform, you know, working with you solely, because then those are people that, like, I mean, you're just taking away from your competition, and now they're part of Lexington. They're part of your brand. They're always going to buy from you now. And we've taken a lot of those people from a lot of other people.
Simply because we're not greedy.
Definitely not greedy, dude.
Simply because
Dude, we
we're not
sell
greedy.
deals at 1, 2, 3, 4 points all day long.
Yep.
We don't care about the first transaction. We want the customer for life. Just like Walmart claims that they do not make money off the first time getting a customer in, and a lot of other big corporations, we feel the same exact way. If we lose out, it is what it is. We have our lead costs, we have our cost to pay our employees, and we have the cost of not charging the guy a lot. So
But that's a forever client.
exactly. I mean, dude, we're saving people thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on a loan.
And like in our industry specifically,
Being presented the same deal from the same lender.
that's how you kill your business in our industry, is just being greedy, trying to stuff as many points as possible down someone's throat. They're never
true.
going to come back or take your deal.
It's true.
All
Where-
they do is make a quick buck.
It's us.
People
never
don't want to
lasts.
think they got God. You know what I mean? Like, we're in sales, right? We're selling, right? But they need to know that, like, yes, Frankie sold me. You know what I mean? He gave me a good product. He's been following up with me ever since the day that I purchased the product from him, and I could tell that him and his company are just good, genuine people.
Yep.
People don't want to wake up the next day, where's Frankie? He's not answering the phone. Like, did I spend too much on this product? Like, that's what people do the next day. They get buyer's remorse. So if you could instill back into their brains that the purchase that they made was good and made sense for them in their business, and they are able to ROI on it, then they'll feel a lot better about the decision that they made.
And there come the referrals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there comes the referrals.
One thing too, I think with competition is don't be afraid to feed the competition a little bit, because it'll show value to you while, you know, in the return. You know, like how we don't make the deal in the first run sometimes. Like, let them go to the other guy real quick. Let them see why they shouldn't have gone to that guy. They had that great initial experience with us, and then they'll be back with us for life.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we tell people that all the
trying to
time.
steer them away. I never bash competition while I'm on the phone. Yeah, I was talking to this company and that company. I was like, all right, well, look, I know that company very, very well. I don't like talking negatively on any companies. All I know is that this is how we differentiate ourselves from the competition. But I strongly urge you that you, at the very least, look at this company's reviews.
Yeah.
And I'll send them a link to their reviews.
100%. Yeah.
And if someone
Definitely.
simply has
Matters.
a better deal, well, tell them to go take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Every single
Yeah.
time.
They love that.
Every single time, which rarely happens. But we want what's best for the client 9 times out of 10.
Yep.
And if they get qualified for our Lex Lock program, then I mean they're never going to get a better deal in the first place. And even for our working capital platform, or our alternative financing platform, we work with all the A tier guys, B tier guys, C tier guys, D tier guys. All the top guys in the space. So for sure, no
Absolutely.
doubt, no doubt.
One thing too with competition, it's going to sound a little cliche, but like you actually have to beat competition to have competition. Like just because you just opened up your plumbing company doesn't mean you're in competition with anybody. You might not know what you're
it's
doing.
true.
You might not, even have your
Dude,
first
people
client
still
yet,
don't think of us as competition, and that's good. You know what I mean? Because they're just sitting down on their butt while we're just coming after them. But you're right. I mean, you have to challenge other people. You gotta make sure that your company's well known. And I mean, a lot of other just how clients will say to us, "Oh, I'm working with X so and so and so and so and so and so." I now know for a fact that happens to them too. I'm working with Lexington. And then they're trying to figure out bad things to say about Lexington. They offer the greatest line of credit program in the country. They have 400 5-star Google reviews, beautiful website, beautiful employees, CEO's a badass Jedi. Damn, but they've only been in business 2.5 years.
Shoot.
The one blunder.
Yeah.
I don't think so though, because when I
not a blunder.
when I talk to partners like, you guys have only been in business for 2.5 years, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you have insane reviews and a ton of products. I'm like, yeah, we just did the right thing.
That's
We pride
being
ourselves on what we
competition,
do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, certain
Be-
people just look at things differently. A lot of people look at things differently. I get clients on the phone sometimes, not about time and business. Shit, I can't even think of the rebuttal that may have given, but next topic. Oops.
Well, though, just even hash back into the plumber thing, you open up your first plumber shop. Like if you drive around your neighborhood, you'll notice, okay, maybe on 10 of the street signs there's, hire me as your plumber. Well, there's 30 street signs there, so take yours, nail it on top of his, and it'll cover the other 20. You just became competition for that guy. Something as simple as that. You might not even have your first client yet, but if you go and post up those other 20 signs, post them next to his, over his,
Number
now
one
you're
plumbing company in the
competition.
world.
People are going to be like, oh, wait, I see this guy more. They're not going to know you just opened up your corporation yesterday. They're not going to know you just graduated college, but they're going to know that you're around the neighborhood. It's something as simple as that. You could even just have plumber and your phone number, and you became more competition.
Number one plumber.
Number one plumber, yeah.
One huge thing that I can attest to this Jedi right here that we touched on briefly in the other podcast is building out different departments is a huge influence on why we're able to attack our competition so quickly.
Yeah.
Having multiple different departments running in unison with different programs, products, and
Yes.
aspects is just it makes it a more well-oiled machine that you can just keep pushing.
Yes, and I want to add to that though. It's good and bad. It can be good and bad. There's I'm
There's a fun
going to
caveat.
play devil's advocate for a second
nice.
because this is a podcast episode we're going to have coming up, and it's going to be called Specialization versus Generalization. Okay, so a lot of bigger companies, they generalize. They offer too many products and programs. When Steve Jobs got ousted from Apple and he ended up coming back, Apple had about 14 to 20 different product lines. think about it, like between because they only sold computers back then, 14 to 20 different computers that they were selling. Steve Jobs slashed it down to 2. They offered 2 products because the reason is they weren't putting all their effort into every single product that they could. They didn't have enough resources to really go ahead and do so. So I think when you first start out, you need to specialize. You need to specialize in something. And then and that's what we did. And that was with alternative financing, mostly with working capital cash advance loans. And then we plateaued on that. I felt like we plateaued to a certain extent. Obviously, there's enough market share to keep going. So we didn't fully plateau, but we plateaued at a certain dollar amount, I felt like. So then that's when we went and we started doing like equipment financing. And when I felt like we plateaued with that, SBA. And when I felt like we plateaued with that, moved on and moved on and moved on, and then allowed for our Lex Talk program. So I think that you need to put all your eggs into one basket at first and become the best at selling and servicing that product specifically. And then that's really what gets your name out there. Like, who cares? Like, just because you're a plumber and you only offer, like, toilet services and you don't offer everything else, it's like, dude, like, if I would have fixed your sink, I would have fucked it up. Yeah. I'll just refer you to somebody who does it. But guess what? In a year, I'll be the best sink doer ever. Clearly, you could tell I'm not a handyman, right?
Sink doer. Doing all the sinks.
I'll work on your sink better than anybody else.
Your sink doing needs.
Yes, sir. But yeah, no, in the beginning, you need to specialize. You don't generalize. And you slowly, like we've done it a good way. We've done it correctly. We've slowly built out other departments. We have about 5 or 6 departments, and it's taken us 2.5 years to do so. We take about 5 to 6 months to work and develop each department. And I mean, hey, our Lex Talk program, I mean, we're still developing now. I mean, every single day there's stuff to work on. And there's something else that we want to do very big for Lexington coming up by probably Q1 of 2025. And I've been reluctant to start at Q4 of this year because we've got such a good thing going on. I mean, this one program grossed like $650,000 last month that I need to make sure that not that we plateau, but we are just at a good place with this. Our personnel is good. The product that we're selling is good. The service that we're giving everybody is good before we can move on to something else. That's how I truly wholeheartedly feel. I know that you know that. I'm like not letting go of this thing until I know it's just so good because it's a program that's popped off. It's clearly good. It's the iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't come out with the Apple Watch until like freaking 7 or 8 iPhones. You know what I mean? They wanted to perfect the iPhone. It's the same exact thing.
We dropped the computer. Now we got the iPhone. Up next
Yes,
is that tablet. Baby.
Exactly. And Steve Jobs wanted to make a freaking iPhone for years, dude. It's all about timing in your business. You can't, just because you have the greatest idea since sliced bread out, doesn't mean that you're then going to be able to make it correctly and then execute upon it correctly and then give the best customer service correctly for that product. There's 3 different things that comes with putting out a new program.
Because I don't know if you remember, too, before the iPhone came out, if I'm not mistaken, Sprint made a phone called the Instinct. And it was basically like what the iPhone was going to be, but it was not that great.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
And
Instinct.
Yeah, and it fizzled away. I remember my mom had it. I thought it was cool as hell.
You guys remember the Voyager?
Bro. No.
There was the Razor.
Dude, everyone wanted the Voyager, bro.
Is that the one that goes up to the T?
No,
That's
that's
a
a
sidekick.
sidekick.
That's the
bro.
slide
That
out.
was so
Badass.
Yeah,
cool.
slide out.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I mean,
But back to the
like you said,
specialization
timing is everything, dude.
versus generalization and building out the departments. One negative thing I've had, and it's very, 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 very rare that I come across this from a client, is, you know, I specialize in the Lex Lock and all things bank related. You're our head of partner relations. We have a SBA specialist. We have a funding specialist. We pretty much have specialists for most of our products, right? A couple of our guys have 2 or 3 products grouped into one. One negative kickback I've gotten is that I've spoken to Appio, and then I've spoke to Chris, and then I spoke to Tom, and then I spoke to Corey also, but they were all on different topics, and they didn't like the fact that they spoke to a couple of different people. But my rebuttal back to that is, well, anything bank related, you want to speak to me. I am your absolute expert. This is what I do day in, day out, eat, breathe, shit, sleep, bleed it, right? I can generally talk to you about an SBA product, but I cannot give you as much knowledge as Chris can. And that's why I do want you to speak to Chris. Now, one thing I want you to know, Mr. Customer, is that me and Chris and Corey and Tom, we are all in constant communication. We have very detailed notes on your profile here, so we all know what's going on day in and day out if anything's changed. So I want you to know you're in good hands, and I understand that it might be slightly annoying that you spoke to 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah.
But you're getting the best service that you could possibly get from each of us through and through.
Yeah.
I've gotten that rebuttal a few times. Very, very few, not nearly enough for us to make a difference in how we operate around here, because we do it the best.
I definitely get that. I love the way that you went about it. I would probably go about it like pretty much the same exact way. You know, I want to make sure that you get the best customer service available for you. I want you to work with the expert in the specific product and category, and that's why you're going to get on the phone with Mr. Corey. And if you want, if I could make you feel more comfortable, I'll stay on the other line, and I will be here for the whole entire conversation so that I am looped into what exactly is going on. You know, so I think the way that you went about it's beautiful, and I think that although some customers might want it that way just to deal with one person, I want to make sure that they get the best service possible personally. But we've had times where there are customers who do just want to hear it from you, and if they're cool with a generalization and they feel most comfortable working with you, then that's what we're going to give them. You know, we're client first, we're customer first. Customers number one, what they say goes. So if that's what they want, that's exactly what we're going to do for them.
Big fan of just let me not answer that right now. I want to make sure I don't give you the wrong answer. Let me find out exactly what the answer is, and let me come back to you.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm on the
People
phone doing
appreciate it.
something-
No one's like, oh,
Yeah, no, don't screw me over.
Yeah.
Don't take me around.
Yeah.
Come back and
Yeah.
tell me what it is.
Yeah.
You know, take your time, take a day, take an hour, whatever you need.
Yep.
Give me the right answer.
Just trying my best not to hang up that phone. Just let me put you on hold for a moment.
Yeah.
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 No, even the hold. I'd rather be like, you know what? Let me call you back in an hour. Let me
Yeah.
get you the right info. Not let
Depends
me
who
put
the
you on hold
client
because
is.
like depends on the client. But I mean personally, because then it's like, oh, that was rushed information. Maybe it's not the best. You know.
That brings up another really huge thing that I see a huge hole in a lot of bigger companies is departments not communicating with each other at all.
At all.
Yep.
Gosh.
They don't got Slack.
No.
Get that, you get transferred
Get
to transfer,
Slack.
transfer.
Phenomenal product.
Get Slack, guys.
But yeah, we're always in constant communication. I mean, if something's in Lex Talk going on with a partner, it's instantly to me, and then if it's got to go to Corey, if a partner it goes right
You
to
want
Corey.
to know why, Tom? Because we have a 10,000 square foot office and they have a 50,000 square foot office.
Hey, GChat works.
Slack.
Slack.
We're RIPG chat.
Yeah.
It's Slack time.
Slack time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're Slack people.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
let's do it, baby.
In marketing, so I made a video about this on my YouTube. There's only 5 ways to acquire a client. It says like a small little thing. That's outreach, that's ads, that's content, that's referrals, and that's affiliates. So I've noticed that in our space, not everybody does everything, right? So when we first started, we do a lot of outreach, which is basically like smiling and dialing, cold calling, email marketing, text marketing, voicemail drops, and a lot of people big in the space don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's a full leg up on marketing tactic that we have on somebody. Pretty much all bigger companies do advertisements. What's funny enough in our space is not all of them create content. I'd say maybe like less than half create content. So that's something we have up on them. So that's 2 out of 5 so far we have up on them. Referrals. I feel like not everybody asks for referrals for whatever godforsaken reason. They're not always constantly asking people for referrals.
They don't believe in their product.
And then 5, agreed. 5 is building an affiliate army out. A lot of them might get referrals, but they don't have affiliates. They don't have an affiliate program or a business development team or a partnership program to take on these clients. The biggest companies in our space don't do it. So I'd say like at least 3 out of the 5 out of those, there's only 5 ways to get clients, guys, just to go over it again. Outreach, ads, content, referrals, affiliates. There's no other way. You can't break it down any other way. So if your competition's not doing two out of the 3, 2 out of the 5, then that's a big leg up that you have, and Lexington does all 5.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out that way.
Nope.
Because we didn't have the marketing budget to go ahead and do so. And that's why you start out with the outreach, and then you create a little bit of a marketing budget. And then you go to paid advertisements. And once you start ROIing on the paid advertisements, you hire a marketing team, a beautiful marketing team, right? See and Remy? You hire a beautiful marketing team, and they create content for you. And then you drive advertisements to that content to help you acquire new customers, new partners, new employees possibly. And then once you feel like you've serviced enough clients and you believe in your product and your program and the way that you go about everything, then that's when you can start asking people for referrals. Because if you only fund 10 people compared to if you fund 1,000, there's a lot more people you could ask for referrals.
Oh, yeah.
And once you feel like you have a great platform to offer people, you really entrust in the lenders that you have on your platform, your employees to execute the customer service, then that's when you could go out and start having other funding companies send you deals, affiliates, get fractional CFOs on your platform, lawyers, accountants, the whole 9.
Sultans, all the good things.
Yes, sir.
100%.
That's my favorite thing, honestly. I love business development. I talk about it all the time. I love having that
Affiliates huge, man.
that outreach web that just
It's
never
huge.
ends. Everybody knows 3 people, and all
Yeah.
those 3 people have similarities. So
Yeah.
if this person came to us for a service that you likely could use, why wouldn't you? And it just grows and grows and grows. Sometimes I get calls from people just randomly to myself and they're like, oh, Mr. Customer gave you your number like 3 months ago, but I didn't need it until now. How you doing?
Yeah.
Amazing. Like
Yeah.
that's how powerful it can be.
Yeah.
It's compounding interest again. The more people they tell, the more people they get in, the more people those people tell, and before you know it, There's 1,000 of them.
It's like a chart where like Tom's the circle, and then it branches out to 2 partners, and that branches out to 4, and that branches out to 8, to 16, to 32, to 64, to 128.
And you bring on the other partner developer, and then that branches out again.
Exactly.
And they mesh.
Yeah.
And
It's like a little
sick.
tree. It's like a family tree.
It's a family tree.
partners.
Of buddies.
buddy tree.
Partner tree.
Buddies.
The buddy tree.
New buddy.
Yeah. Money trees.
Yeah.
Perfect place for
Shade, and that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
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 Well, guys, I think to sum up this episode, beat competition, beat the competition,
Customer service, customer service, customer service, customer
huge.
service, customer service.
figure out something they're not doing that you can do.
Transparency and a revolutionary product.
Yeah, it just comes down. It's as simple as just studying your competition,
Yeah.
knowing what they do, knowing what they don't do. Survey their clients, survey your clients, see what your industry as a whole is missing. Talk to other people in your space from other companies, competition if you possibly can, like people lower on the totem pole that might talk to you, and just get as much sauce and information from what is right and what is wrong about these different companies, and then you simply just execute upon it. You just make a plan to execute upon it. And you don't do everything at once. You know, you slowly build and you slowly build and you slowly build and you slowly build and you slowly build. But
And work twice as hard.
and you just work twice as hard.
Yes,
and you
sir.
can compound and you could beat the Goliaths of your industry, guys.
Michael Jordan wasn't dunking from the free throw line in middle school.
No, he
No,
wasn't.
he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He had to work on that vertical.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
That vert
did.
is crazy now.
That vert go hard.
Probably not that good. but
That vert go hard.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
thank you
Foxy
so
40s.
much for 50,000 subscribers.
Going on 60.
Going on, so we're like
We're like
58.
58,000
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, we're like
58.
58,000.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, we appreciate
Insane.
you.
Every single one of you.
58,000,
We
40
appreciate you
episodes.
guys. Yeah.
Please like, subscribe, comment,
Hit the bell.
smash that bell.
Smash that like button.
And stick around for the Foxy 40s. We're going to have
Yes.
some fun.
We're gonna have some fun.
And if you're one of our competitors, I highly suggest you watch this episode.
Because you'll get some sauce.
Because you just got the sauce and how we've been able to outbeat you.
You'll never catch up though.
No, they can't catch up.
And with that being said,
You're the hare. We're the tortoise.
Yes, sir.
we're a
Yes,
fat
sir.
tortoise. Fat
Yes, sir.
tortoise, not fat.
Yes, sir.
You take off on Easter.
You know,
Big old tortoise.
that's it. Yeah, they take off on
They
Easter.
take off on Easter.
Yes, sir. We're still just.
Woo!
Great episode,
That
guys.
was synced up, baby.
Wow,
Great.
that was
That was
nice.
synced up.
I seen you breathing in.
You knew what was
I knew what he
happening.
was doing. I knew what he was doing.